You know what I find interesting? As soon as you want something from life, you must assume that you are death. You cannot be life and want something from life. Just like the sun has no desire to get light because it is the light. So as soon as you want something from life, let's say, for example, a relationship or money, success, or even spiritual success, as soon as you want that, you're you're killing it. You want to have a relationship, for example, and what happens is you get the relationship, you want more, you want to have more excitement, and somehow it just slips through your fingers and it ends. It's just like you shouldn't want a relationship, you should be it. And I know it doesn't make sense when I say it like that, but I hope you understand what I mean because it's like an energetic thing. You shouldn't want things, you should be the things you want so you don't want them anymore. Because if you are life, then automatically you don't want anything from it. So if you're just calm in your serenity, you'll find yourself in the middle of paradise, surrounded by all the fruits and relationships and all the success, the healing. But as soon as you're grabbing those things, they start to die. There is no life and no death. There's just this, and we don't know what it is. Maybe it is deep sleep, but it appears as dream, so it appears to be real. But there's this concept of this is life, and I want things. I want to do things. I want to have success. I want to have money. I want to have all sorts of things. It's a normal, standard human life. People want things, but they are never fulfilled. Most of them are never fulfilled. And if I meet someone who is truly fulfilled, they may think it's because they have things, but when we observe what is really going on, we find that they're just happy because they have this inner sense of knowingness, and they are not aware that it's called consciousness. It's because they feel fulfilled even if they don't have all the things. That's what makes them happy. And I'm not talking about happiness that you are laughing all the time. I mean, of course, if you are going on this path of, awakening, and of course you feel high on life. You wake up in the morning and there's no, of course there are thoughts, but there's not you don't mind what happens really. You don't, of course you're high on life. I don't like the word happiness. I like to call it serenity because it feels more accurate. And serenity is what you get when you are assuming yourself as life. Because as soon as you assume yourself as life, you don't want anything from life anymore. Because you are it. Don't grab for things, and the things will come to you. If you hold on, it will just slip through your fingers, and then you will feel lonely. So what to do? Is there anything we can do practically to get to the state? There's nothing to do. You can't do anything to get that. Because as soon as if there's someone on YouTube telling you, there's a method to become what you already are, it can be helpful for the mind to remember, oh, I'm unconscious, let's become conscious again, of course. But there's really nothing to do to become what you already are, which is life or consciousness or beingness, or call it whatever you want. There's nothing to do, because as soon as you want to do something to get it, you're grabbing again. So you must assume yourself as death, and whatever death touches must die. Now let's say you are in a situation where you feel like, but I'm suffering. You feel like you're suffering. You know, there's a level of mental suffering that's so deep and intense, you cannot just go to the root and cut it. Because if suffering is really bad and intense, there must be also a very big identification as a personhood. So you can try it. If you are trying to cut the root through awakening, then that's what the beingness is doing. If you are suffering, you just have to sort of let go and trust that life, just like a river, will bring you to the right spot. Just endure, and life will bring you to the right spot. And it may take days, weeks, months, years, who knows. But most probable, at the end of the road, you will probably come to a point where you'll find yourself as nothing, which is life. Because healing trauma essentially means to realize that there's no relationship between what you are now and the thing that seemingly happened in the past. There's no relationship. It's not me, and it's not suppression. It's quite the opposite. It's real looking, enduring, feeling with closed eyes. You know, meditation is really has nothing to do with suppression. It's a direct seeing what emotion comes up, what does my subconsciousness want to tell you today. And there's no medication for it to make it easier. It's sometimes people cry when they meditate because it's really direct. They are looking in the eyes of the devil. Me also. Not anymore, but there was a phase where I had to go through it. And when you are looking at your trauma directly, without a method to calm yourself down, so you're letting your body and mind flip out in meditation. When you do that, which is essentially doing nothing because it obviously happens on its own. But when you do that, what happens is you automatically, at some point, you'll start to realize, wait, it happened in the past. Now I can see it in front of my mind's eye. My body feels emotions when I see it in my mind's eye. And now I realize I don't have to suppress it, because obviously, even though it's painful and it feels like suffering, it doesn't kill me. So your fear of the trauma shrinks, falls apart, and crumbles down. And then there's like this stage where you don't mind anymore. It doesn't have There's no relationship between you and it. But then the question arises, who am I then? Who am I? If my past doesn't define who I am, that means that I don't have a past, and who am I then? Am I this body? Of course I'm not this body. You wouldn't watch this video if you wouldn't have realized that to this point. Of course I'm not this body. I'm not my past. I'm not my emotions. I'm not the activity that's going on in my mind. And that's not a belief. That's a raw seeing that came from my personal investigation. So it's not a belief like Christianity. You have to believe in what the pastor tells you. It's not another belief that the me can attach to. It's a real seeing that is realized by who you are, but who are you? So if you are realizing that there's nothing you can grab, hold on to, and say, this is me, then what happens is there's something, you don't know who it is, what it is, because you don't know who you are. Something that realizes that it doesn't exist. And that's why Buddha said there is no self, anatta. I think it's called anatta. There's no self. There's no real self. And even if you are conscious of thoughts while meditating, you kind of have the sense of, yes, I'm consciousness. You can also, as soon as you're feeling like you are consciousness, you are also, in that moment, you become a witness to consciousness. So who are you then? You are not consciousness. It's even deeper than consciousness. There's no self. And it's not death. You're not killing yourself. You're killing death. Because before realizing that you are not a self, you had to assume that you are death that wants to grab things from life. And by doing that, killing life. As soon as you realize that there is only what is, anatta, you become life. It's not that you become life, but you realize that you were always, even before this body was born, life itself. So you realize that, and automatically life will blossom around you. It will become paradise. And it feels let's choose a good word. It's abstract. It's really abstract because, when I go outside, I see people who are in deep fear. And it's not that I have a conversation with them. I can see it in their faces. They have deep fear. And when I engage with those people, they start to open up conversations about war. What's happening in the news? What do they tell us? It's no wonder that they feel like They're full of fear. Someone might say, what should they do? Should they smile about it? No, of course not, but you're not contributing to a better earth by having more fear. You're letting yourself, you're letting others control you if you are, fearful. And the reason why I said that it feels abstract is because I feel like I am living in paradise, even though people are aware of war. And it's not that I'm ignorant. I just know that the only way we can stop war, fear, hate, division, with love. So someone has to start with being aware of love. So even though the whole world is burning, you have to become this seed of love. And it's only possible by becoming aware of paradise. People think it's appropriate to match the energy, when someone has a lot of fear. People think it's appropriate to react also with fear, to have this feeling of, I can relate, But if everyone is doing the same thing, soon we will have the whole globe just full of fear, because people think it's appropriate to react with fear also. And it's inappropriate if you react with love. It's like, why are you happy? Don't you see that I'm suffering? Well, I'm just happy because I'm, first of all, authentically feeling happy. And second of all, I wouldn't help you by feeding into your fear. But that's what people do. A lot of people, not every person, but a lot of people are subconsciously thinking that they are sort of helping with the problem we have in the world by engaging with the energy of fear and spreading it, even with talk to other people about negative stuff happening. They subconsciously sort of believe that this could help, spread awareness. Now everyone is aware in a state of fear. It's good to spread awareness, but they think spreading awareness is about spreading fear. And it doesn't help. So it's, in my opinion, it's more appropriate to, spread awareness. Yes, there is suffering. Life is dukkha. Life is suffering. But also make people aware, look at a tree. What's right here, right now? I see no war right here, right now. Be also aware of this. I don't see war here. Doesn't mean that you have to ignore the war, be ignorant to what's going on in the world. But you're not a better person by only being aware of what is negatively going on in the world and completely ignoring the present moment. You're not a better person by doing that. Go to the root of your own suffering and find out who you are, which is nothing. And automatically you will contribute to a better world. It's automatically.